welcome.
Hey, lady. Welcome, 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 welcome. God, it's
How
been
are
a
you?
hot minute.
I know it has, hasn't it? And I felt like February went so slowly.
You did.
Hmm.
It's like a blur for me because I was sick for like 2 weeks of it. So
Right.
it's just, I need
You,
a pause button before March gets here.
that's fair. Um, yeah, you were at death's door, weren't you? You're looking better, feeling better.
Oh, thank you. I still have my sexy 1-900 voice.
The affliction you must carry when you're ill.
Gen Z, not Gen Z.
Yeah,
Gen X will know that. I get them all
very Gen
confused.
X. Yes, for
Gen
sure.
X, yes.
I'm glad you're
We're
better.
on episode 5,
Yes.
trucking
We
along.
should do introductions, remember, too.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I'm CJ Dainton. I do historical fiction and dabble in some other things on the side because I can't help myself.
I love that. I'm Kimberly Grymes, Grymes with a Y. I also write under K Grymes, romance, fantasy, all over the place. My ADHD, whatever is in the mood today. Too many projects on one plate.
You do a lot, don't you? I mean, the formatting and design and everything else you do.
I really shouldn't. I can't help it. I feel like we love this so much, so it's okay to keep piling all this stuff on our plates because like this is something we're passionate about, we love doing.
For sure, for sure. Well, and that actually ties into something I was going to say, to let you know. I mean, we've talked about it, but to let the audience know. Um, I've tried a few things in February to like get unstuck, and I was tracking word counts in my handy dandy planner.
Oh,
Um,
say it again. Say it again.
Um, there's a little bit of a notebook ASMR there for you. Um, so interesting observation, because that's what we're doing with the planner. We are observing. January, I did 3,000 new words, 3,000 new words.
Shut the front door. That's awesome. Yay.
Well, here's the thing. It is, but also I complained to you about it. Do you remember? Because I said, I know I can do 30,000 in a month. 3,000 feels like too little. It feels like not enough. And you argued back at me and you said, excuse me, 3,000 words is still 3,000 more than you had, which is
Yes.
good. I think in my mind, I was just thinking like 3,000 is like 1% of 30,000. Is it?
When
Or
you have,
is
I
that
have no,
percentages?
oh, don't have
It's
me
a
do math right
smaller
now.
number than
Yes.
30,000.
It's a fraction of the 30,000.
Yes. And I think there was a part of me that just felt a little bit. And I didn't think I had it in my head at the beginning of the month, thinking that I had a specific goal. I think it was more just, I don't know, the math didn't, it wasn't good writer math for me. And I did beat myself up a little bit about it. This month I'm only at 2250, but there's still something left in the month. So we'll see. But the thing I found was that I had to jump around a bit in the sprints I was doing with another author friend to try and see if I can grab some traction in another project. So what you were saying earlier, that sort of dipping in and out of the things that we feel like we can put our energy to in that moment. So we're getting there. We're making progress.
Yeah, I think there's a difference too when you set a goal like 30,000, like when people were writing for NaNoWriMo or something and they're trying to
Yeah.
reach that
Yeah.
50,000. They literally spend the month before or weeks before prepping to
Yeah.
do such a big haul. Some people can write really fast. They can do 10,000 in a weekend.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not a common thing. Like a lot of writers, you have to get in the zone. You have to remember what you're writing. You have to
Yeah.
continue writing and getting in the characters' voices. There's a lot of mood you have to establish before you just jump right in and start continuing your scenes.
For sure. And the months that I've done 30,000, it was a specific project that existed as a short story that I was expanding. So, in a sense, the structure was already there.
Yeah.
Um, and my biggest day was like 11,500, but that's not sustainable either. It takes very unique circumstances, and it was a new project, so you have all that new project energy.
Yeah.
It's different. So, not terrible results, better than zero. But also, there's a weird part of me that I think is my, because I have a touch of competition, dipping into into strengths already. I have a touch of competition, but it tends to be with myself. It's more about personal best rather than like competitive in a group. It's more me. I want to meet my goals. But it's funny, when I went into it, I didn't think I had those figures in my head. So I think that's part of the surprise and the, like you mentioned, the observing. And that's why I'm doing this. So mission
Yeah.
accomplished.
Yeah. You're learning more about your writing habits.
Yes.
You're learning more about not just um not just about the writing habits, but how writing fits into your lifestyle,
Yes.
the bigger your everyday life with your family, your work, your everything. So,
Yes.
I mean, tracking this information helps you set realistic goals.
Yeah. Oh, and I realized halfway through February, this little side project that I have going on, um, the one that's like very self-indulgent and very lyrical. It's very all the things I love about purple prose, and it's the one that's sort of doesn't have a conventional structure. I realized that I need to take out a character. And so that was a bit of an unlock too, which I don't think I would have realized had I not sat very uncomfortably with it.
Yeah.
And then a mutual friend of ours who does editing made a comment on Threads that said something about like, oh gosh, I need to look up what she said. But yes, she said something about like something to do with keeping it simple and not overcomplicating it. Like if you're stuck, you might just have overcomplicated it. And I love this character so much, but I just don't think I want to use him the way that I had him in there already. So I'm going to save those parts, but take him out and see
Which
it.
takes time and energy.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that those detours is a domino effect, which plays into, you know,
Mhm.
growth for your story, but also time that you were planning to write more words.
Yes.
So you have to forgive yourself in one area because you're growing in another area.
Yes, absolutely. And I did that with the original big historical fiction. I combined some characters, I took some others out. Um, so I'm not, it doesn't bother me at all in that sense. Like I've done it before, and I think being able to see where characters are overutilized and underutilized can be really, really good for a story. But it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, dang it. I can't use him the way I thought I was going to. But I do think that the story overall will be better for it. But again, yeah, it's that time taken away from new words. So
Which happens. I mean,
it does.
I don't
It
know if
does.
you self edit while you write. I am a big self editor while I write. So I take that into consideration when I'm drafting because I know it takes me 3 days to write one chapter because I'm self editing the whole time.
I do a bit. I do a bit. I probably do it subconsciously. And so I think I'm writing more loosely than I am. But then it also comes down to like, how do you define writing, right? It's not just new words. It's the thought, it is the research, it is the you go in some days and you have fresh words, and then you go in some days and you're like, I used to. write everywhere because it just things were so chaotic. And so I'd have handwritten notes, and at nighttime I just dump them into my document because that's all I had in me to do. And
And
sometimes if
while
I
you're
was awake,
dumping it, you're changing things.
yes, exactly. And so if I had the energy or the time, I'd sometimes go back and review and just make some of those basic edits. Or if I was that tired, I would just leave it and just come back to it another time. But I think um
Do you still do that, or do you don't do that anymore?
it depends. It depends on what life is like. I find sometimes the words I get that are the better words are um when I handwrite them.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's because there's so much more intention, there's a lot more sensory input and output that happens, especially if you're writing in pencil, which I love to do. I love to write with just a pencil and paper. But here's the interesting thing, because one of my kiddos was talking about their desire to get things right and wording things a certain way and trying to shape a piece of writing that they were doing. And they were talking about it in the context of poetry specifically and music and like how do you create? How does a person create something? And we talked a lot about this idea of self-edit and how much pressure we put on ourselves to create something good right away. When in actual fact, you what you learn, what how you get the good words is by putting out a ton of terrible ones. And
Oh, yes.
one of the things that I noticed when I would come back to words I dumped into the document is that I couldn't really tell which bits, as I was editing, which bits were done when I was sad, when I was tired, when I was happy, when I was energized. When it came down to it, the words I was editing didn't have hallmarks. The hallmarks one might think you might have. I did have one tell, and that was when I was really, really, really fatigued or tired. I would always spell the wrong. I would spell it H-E-T instead of T-H-E. So that was
That's
one tell that I had. But
that's an
aside from,
indicator.
yes, and I was like, I was tired then. But overall, the shape and the style, it didn't really matter. And so I learned to get words anyway, regardless
Mhm.
of how I felt, and just let them be terrible. And I figured the only way I'm going to get better is by doing more of them. And so I just do more terrible ones. And I think some of the editing is just coming as part of it's coming in the structure and the habit of getting lots and lots of terrible words. So,
Yeah. I there
yeah.
was an author I used to follow years ago, Michelle, I can't remember her last name. And she had put out a video that really hit me back when I was first starting. And it was basically you can't um don't write a perfect first draft. Don't focus so much on writing that perfect first draft. Focus on just getting words out. And then the more words you get out, the more experience you get, the more knowledge you'll retain with knowing this is the right way I like to write versus this isn't going to work. But
Yeah.
you can't learn that experience if you don't push forward and get past these hurdles and just keep writing.
Yeah. And I think it takes down barriers too, because if I can't tell which bits of story were put out based on how I was feeling at the time, then how I feel about writing becomes irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the pressure's off. So I can write when I don't feel like it, and it doesn't matter. The words exist now, and they're part of something, and they weren't there before. So I would say the last couple, like month and a half of tracking this has actually been incredibly helpful, not just in terms of the observing the words.
You can't see because you're
Um,
listening. I'm doing a happy dance because that
and
makes
I
me so happy to hear.
and I saluted you because it was
Yeah.
your suggestion that I do this. Um, yeah. So I would say success, and I will keep going. And
Yeah. I mean, and you're, I mean, it'll evolve from season to season as well, whether you're in the spring, whether you're over the summer when the kids are out of school, whether
Hmm.
it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Um, Writing times, they change depending on what's going on in the time of year. And that should also be considered when making goals for any of us, you know?
Yeah. I have thoughts on that, but I may have to report back next time because there are some changes coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I highly recommend anybody just keep a journal and track, and you're right, like track your emotions as well when you're writing. I personally have to be in a writing mood. I can't, if I'm in a funk or if I'm not feeling it, I don't force myself to write just because I know what I'll put out will be crap. And and even though it's crap, it's just I can't focus. I'm thinking about all the stuff I'm stressing about in the family life and the outside
yeah.
world life. That's when I play my cozy video games. I
That's when
shut
I'm
down.
that's when I'm scrolling through threads. Um,
Mhm.
it, it's so interesting, isn't it? It's just like I wish I understood more of the neurological stuff because people have probably done studies on this about creativity and mental bandwidth and other things like that. Because there's definitely a part of me that has become very,
Aware.
yeah, aware, but also just I don't care anymore about how crappy the words are.
Well, and
Maybe
that's fine.
desperate's the right word.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Once you publish your debut book, and now you have reader expectations to get out book two, those timelines become more um, set in stone, or they become more real. And then it's in my mind, it's like, okay, what I put out has to start being what I'm going to work with. So that's when you start thinking, yes, write whatever, even if it's crap. But in my mind, I'm thinking, that's precious time. Like every minute is precious nowadays. Like, I mean, 10 minutes is gold to me, you know? So when I have a deadline, it's like, I have to make sure I'm putting words out that um, will be used more or
Hmm.
less.
Hmm.
They can be molded or changed, but I can't let my stories veer anymore. I can't see where something is going to go anymore. I have to know where is the story going and either
Hmm.
own it and do it
Hmm.
or get mad at myself because I just wasted a day of writing.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not pantsing,
Yeah.
so that's probably helpful. The words are intentional.
Well, that's
I just
good.
realized that I think the
Then they're not
qual
crap.
no, I just think because I realized so profoundly that the quality of what I was writing wasn't as obvious as I thought it might be.
That means you're an underwriter.
It's a risk management. Yeah, oh, totally. Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that is what I have decided. I am an underwriter. Um, and then through self-editing each step, going back, I fluff it or I add. Um, so being an underwriter, yes, it could be vague, it could be very general, you know, like just
Yeah,
simple screenplay writing style. But those words, they'll stick unless
yeah,
you decide to take out a character.
yeah. But that project's so under the
Hmm.
radar. It doesn't matter. It's early enough. Like I'm at what, 33,000 words. It's early enough. I can take him out. And because of the structure being
Yeah,
not, it's like the structure's different than a typical
it's not too much of
novel.
a domino
No,
effect. Okay.
No, and I'll still use him. I'll just change um
But
how he
I'm really
is.
excited for you. You're learning more about your writing
Yeah.
habits and
Yeah.
your capacity and then
Well,
as things change.
the capacity thing changes too, because as I've said, like I can do a full-length novel in 3 months. I know I can. That isn't that what like it's not a mystery to me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like I can get the words. I know I have the capacity to do that. I know I have the capacity to do, over 10,000 in a day. But I think the thing for me is how realistic and sustainable are those practices? And
Yeah.
it's always been a matter, and we've talked about this before, especially with kids, like any type of caring role that you're in, like you have to be flexible. And so it's this issue of like there was a sweet author talking about like having just had a baby and like getting into postpartum and writing with a kid and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, how do you authors with kids have balance? And I just said, I don't. There
Yeah.
isn't balance. Um,
Not when they're that young.
no one there, especially no one there that young.
Yeah.
Um, it's that habit of returning that I've developed. It's that I can come back around even after delays or even after pauses or events that have shaken things up. And you can come back around and you're able to sit down again and be present with your work. And it's the not caring so much what mood I'm in to get the words, just to get them, just to have them there.
Yeah.
Um, and so you become a creator of opportunity. Like when the opportunity comes, you're there and you're present, and you keep returning to those opportunities. And so I feel like that enables you to sort of hold all the pieces together without feeling like you have to be
It's not a
ruled.
chore.
Yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
no, not at
That's the
all.
thing. Like
Yeah.
we return back to it after
Yes.
everything going on
Yeah.
because we're passionate about it. We love it.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
something that we enjoy and it makes us happy.
Yes.
And when you have something like that, whether it's writing, whether it's a hobby, or not that this is a hobby, but anything that makes you happy, you will return to it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, but it's tricky, especially when you feel culture pressing in and saying, like, you have to be productive, you have to be like this, you have to be advancing in your career, you have to be, all these have
Yeah.
tos. When you're creative, you sort of have to tap out of that sometimes and just say, look, you know, my life is demanding other things of me right now, but I can come back. I know I can come back.
Yeah.
So that's the difference I find.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people realize that through experience of burnout.
Yeah,
And once they reach
for
that
sure.
burnout stage, then it's the question of, or the realization of, I can't do that much.
Mhm.
I can't do what this author is doing, even though they're doing it well. It's not in my capacity or it's not in my range
Yeah,
of that I can do.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Speaking of
yeah.
capacity,
Yeah.
Olympics. Have you been watching?
Here and there, we kind of do YouTube updates. We did watch, oh, I'm gonna forget, I don't remember her name, the ice skater who won gold
Yes.
was
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
And we watched an
Yes.
interview with her and her journey and her comeback, and it was just so inspiring.
Have you seen some of the stills of her performance? Like there's some really beautiful photography that was taken of her while
I
she was
haven't seen any
skating.
stills, but I saw the
Um,
performance.
yeah. So some of the stills are they're really beautiful because when you like anything that uses a lot of force, like your face gets distorted as you're spinning and all these other things. But the stills from when she's performing are just so beautiful. They're so whimsical, they're so full of joy and this sort of euphoric experience that she was able to communicate to everybody who was present and through the screen and everything else. And the stills have been really inspiring me because sometimes when we go through things, I know her skating, like what she did was hard. Like it was hard work. She's been working on this, she's been training on this, but she made it look so effortless and so joyful. And there are times I'm like, I'm pretty sure if people were to look at me, they'd just see my very serious, very RBF. I'm concentrating. This is like serious work for me. You know, it was just something so liberating about how she performed. And there's been so much inspiration on, especially on Threads, because that's where I hang out, just of what she's communicating to people. And not just like her age group and skaters younger than her, but she's inspiring women in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. And you're just like, I don't know if she's aware of how broad the inspiration is going, because it's not just I want to be a skater. It's I want to do the creative thing on my terms too. I want to
Yes.
have that
I was gonna
joy.
say
I want to
she came
share.
back and she was like, this isn't, I think she said she doesn't consider herself an athlete. She considers herself an artist.
Yes. I thought that was incredible because that is not typically the message you hear when it comes
Mm-mm.
to hard work. It's like, unless you take it super, super seriously all the time and you're dedicated and it's hard and you're suffering, then
Yeah.
you're legitimate at what you're doing.
She wasn't after the the prize. She was after the thrill, the joy, the
Yeah.
the enjoyment that it brought her
Yeah.
just to be doing it.
Yes.
And the prize was just icing on the cake, which was
Yeah.
fantastic. Like you can tell in her skating that she
Hmm.
was just out there having
Yeah.
fun. She enjoyed it. She wasn't stressed. She wasn't concerned about, am I going to get enough points? She was
Hmm.
just out there just having fun.
Hmm. No, I'm sure that that doesn't take away from the fact that like she's worked extremely hard.
Oh, definitely. Oh my
And it
gosh.
doesn't take away from the fact that she clearly takes the athleticism of what she's doing very seriously. But it just was such a contrast to me in how we've, I think, been sort of trained to think about success, about how we've been sort of trained to think it has to be difficult. You have to suffer. You have to do all
Yeah.
these things. And I think that's why it's been super important for me to have multiple projects creatively too. Like this one I'm doing, it's completely self-indulgent, like when I'm going to rip the character out of. It's just for the absolute pleasure of words. And it's incredibly self-indulgent. It's all the things that most people might hate about writing, but I just find so compelling. And it's funny
Yeah.
'cause every time I dip into it and come back out again, I'm like, I love words. Words are so great. Just words. Just give me words all day long.
I'll give you lots of words. You can have all the words. I'm more of um a visual. That's what
Okay.
brings me the joy is the visual part of it all.
And I need to send you the stills for that performance because I
Yes,
think there are
yes.
some specific ones that I think you would probably really love. Um, how else does this tie into writing? Interestingly enough, in the last few days on Threads, it's kicked off about PR boxes for books specifically. So when you're sending out an
Yes.
ARC, a lot of authors will put together some kind of package, like copy of the book, maybe a bookmark. Some people have dipped into like custom scents, custom teas,
All the
um,
swag.
stickers. Yeah, great. And that type of stuff is super fun. Who doesn't love some swag? Um,
Yeah. It's expensive though.
it is expensive. It's expensive for the authors. And I was trying to figure out where it all kicked off from, because usually there's somebody who said something, and it's often clickbait, it's often rage bait, and they're just trying to stir up issues, right? I don't know that this came from a bad place. I think it was somebody who was in PR or in some kind of creative direction type of role. And she commented on how like impressive some of these boxes were. And I don't remember the comment she made, but it set a lot of people off. And it was interesting to me because it felt like it was again turning some of this stuff to do with author creativity, author industry, author creation and production, and doing that thing again where it sort of elevates the experience over the ex yeah, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it sort of elevates the production over the experience of actually reading a book and being in a story. And one of the
Okay.
comments that people made were that, authors spend a lot of money putting those things together, especially if you're indie, it's all out of pocket expenses. And then oftentimes you'll get one post from a bookstagrammer
Oh
or
yeah. You're
one
lucky if you get
interaction,
one.
if you're lucky. Um, and then they never return to it again. And it reminded me a lot of the boom with and it's still going on, but it got really big maybe 10 years ago with beauty products in the beauty industry and makeup videos on YouTube and places like that too, where it became this kind of grotesque overconsumption of presentations. And you open the box and this lights up, and those things, like, there's fun in that. There's fun in the creative design, there's fun in the um in product design and all those other things. Those things are fun to do, but unless you're a multi-billion-dollar company, they're generally out of
Yeah.
reach of most people.
Yeah.
Um,
So were
and
the
it just,
comments negative?
yeah, a lot of people were pushing back, saying, like, look, this isn't within the scope of most authors. Most indie authors cannot do this. They
But
cannot.
her comment was her
Oh,
comment saying like she was disappointed in the PR box she received, or
no, I think she was more saying, like, this is where it's at. Like, this is something really gorgeous and amazing. And, this is a key part of marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And there may certainly be a place for it, but the pushback for, especially for indie authors, because I think the person that she was referring to was indie, um, is that it kind of then becomes a rush of, like, who can spend the most money to get to the top. And it doesn't really vibe with the spirit, I think, of indie publishing either. And so it's one of those funny things where the thing in and of itself was beautiful,
yeah.
right? But it really seemed to strike a chord with a lot of people saying, like, this just isn't realistic for most of us. We're flat out getting ARC teams together, or we're flat out getting street teams
Yeah.
together, whatever, whatever. Um, and it just struck me again, like, that tension between the work you do and the input that you put into something. You strive and you sweat. And especially for a lot of us who are not using generative AI at all, it's all just, the mistakes are
Us.
honestly ours.
It's just us.
Um, it's just us. Um, Coming back to the joy, I I'd love to be able to make people feel something by opening a box and being like, oh my gosh, this vibes, like, it's so great. Um, Man, if I could just put the scent of eucalyptus, like true Australian eucalyptus, into a box and, like, mail it to you, and you could open it and smell Australia the way I do when I step off the plane there. Brisbane Airport, especially. You step off the plane, I can smell the eucalyptus. It's in the air. Everything you exist in Australia to me smells like eucalyptus, but maybe that's just me. Um, Especially when it's like a muggy heat. The eucalyptus just hangs in the air. Oh my gosh, it's the best smell. It's the best smell. So good.
You're gonna have
Um,
to get some air fresheners and stick in
I
there.
I would love to be able to give people that experience, because
But you're right. I mean, not everybody can
no,
afford
no.
doing PR boxes like that.
But I think what I realized I want more is I want
Mm.
what that skater said. She said what she really wanted to do is make people feel something. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, doesn't matter. I just want you to feel something. And I think that that's kind of the heart of indie stories, really, is
Well, yeah, she wants you to feel something while watching her skate,
yes,
whereas we want readers to feel something and get the joy from the story.
yes, exactly.
But the marketing aspect has just gone out of control. I mean,
Right.
with the PR boxes, there's so much like, even with PR boxes, you can only hand out a certain number because
Mhm.
you can't
Yeah.
afford to give everyone. So then
Right.
maybe some other ARC readers feel a little bit
Hmm.
shrugged off because they're not one of the ones who are getting the PR boxes.
Right.
And then on top of that, I mean, nowadays everybody has to have sprayed edges or everybody has to have some kind of fantastic artwork.
Right. And I think there's a way, at least I want to always
How
come
do we
back
get
to
back to just that feeling
the
of
joy.
enjoying the story?
Yeah. I think if, yeah, I really would rather have my book be something that people read and felt something. Read, and for me, I reread my favorite books. I come back to them again and again. They're comfort reads, and so I will reread. Um, I think that's the measure for me. If I get a reader who's rereading, I that's it for me.
Done. That's
Yep.
good. Yeah.
Um,
I yeah.
yeah.
No, I hear I hear what you're saying. With books, there's 5 million books out there for readers to
Mhm.
choose from. And I feel like the key is once they read a book from an author, that author is on their radar. So they have a pile of authors on their radar they will follow. And if they pull other authors in every now and then here, that's how we become known. That's how this story is known. They don't expect PR boxes. They don't expect, what they want is the next story.
Yes.
Um, yeah, PR boxes are definitely, or marketing in general has definitely become so much hype, whereas people just they want not free stuff, but they want to create those videos, those
Hmm.
posts of those on hauls or book hauls or, the PR relief. But are they even going to read your story?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have somebody read the story and enjoy the story
Yeah.
than spend a lot of money to get an influencer to show my book who isn't really going to read it because
Right.
they have 5 million other books on their TBR.
Yeah.
Those are the
So
pros and cons of
yeah. Yeah. Right.
marketing.
Yeah. And um
That's
it
not to
just
say you can't do a PR box.
oh no, of course not. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think you can 100% still be striving for that joy and for that desire for readers to read. You can have all of that and do a PR book. Absolutely, you can.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just interesting to me. Like and I think maybe it's because I know you and I very passionate about craft, and the only thing in the world I want to do is be a better writer.
For sure.
That's really it. So for me, reader experience is really valuable and important. And so it just struck me specifically with regards to that because the variety of pushback was there. Everything from this is a necessary part of our marketing, we have to do this, to I'm tapping out of this, I can't participate in this, right? There's no one right thing, but it was
No, it's
interesting
author's
to me.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was just so interesting to me that you see that sense of the battle for authenticity, the battle for the joy of things in every aspect
Yeah.
of life. And I think seeing it so starkly in the Olympics, seeing that the result of that performance so starkly and what she said about her own experience, it just resonated really strongly with me when I saw this discussion kick up.
Yeah, because she's right.
Yeah.
You know, you you know, it, she wasn't flashy about promoting herself. She
Hmm.
wasn't fly. I mean, she didn't even tell her family that she was making a comeback until after she hired her own coaches, set
Yeah.
her own schedule. So I mean, she focused on making her performance going to be, the best that she could be, so that people can enjoy that
Yeah.
rather than hyping it up
Right.
and then just being, focused so much on the marketing.
Yeah.
So it was a fantastic performance. I mean,
Yeah.
flawless. It was
Oh yeah.
amazing. When
It's
she slid on her knees, I was just like, I don't know if that's something normal ice skaters do, but it was amazing.
I don't think I've seen it like that before. I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen anything like that. Um, not like that. There was a way she did it that was all her own style. It was all her own whimsy,
Right.
you know?
It
Yeah,
wasn't stiff like part of the routine.
right.
It was like artistic and dance moves like, you know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was very good. And it did bring me joy. And I
yes.
think that having readers find books they enjoy reading
Hmm.
rather than getting all the swag and then never reading the book because they're just so focused on, I mean, I get it. There's influencers out there, and we're very grateful for influencers out there. But at the same time, we also want you to read our book and we want you to enjoy the story, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And connection is so important.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather connect with readers who just enjoy the stories
Same.
and that's a bigger thing for me. And I mean, marketing is part of how you get that exposure. It's how you find those readers.
Yeah.
But I wanted my longing when I was hearing people pushing back on that. My longing was there's something for everybody. There's something for every reader. There's something for every writer. And I think there's marketing that works for every writer too.
Yeah.
And it's just that sense of like not being afraid that you have to follow a formula in order to be successful. There's not one thing.
Oh,
And to
definitely
be
not.
free of that, which I think the skater was, to be
Yeah.
free of that pressure, which I've sort of learned to be, I've tapped out of the pressure of having to produce because I had to make things work for my family and my situation. It's very freeing. And I want that for other writers too.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think that making choices based on what they're able to do or what they want to
Mhm.
do rather than what somebody else is doing
Yes.
is really important. It's sometimes hard because you see the success of other authors doing something and then you want that success or you
Mhm.
want to have those same results.
Sure.
But at the same time, sometimes it's so much more rewarding when you go your own path and you find
Mhm.
what works best for you. So like with my new romantic fantasy western series,
Yeah.
I was recently told by somebody that western really isn't a popular niche, and I tried to explain that, well, I wrote a western that's not really a western.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not your typical Western. And so, but then I was told, oh, well, your cover looks Western. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, because it is, it's set in an old West, an alternative old West. But so this is the challenges I have to face now.
Mm.
I don't want to do PR boxes. I would rather focus on getting readers to read the story and enjoy the story world and want more from the story world. So PR boxes was not something on the table for me because I didn't want to spend that money for a handful of influencers who may read it and may love it, but I was focused more on getting people to read the smaller niche, which
Mhm.
we have a mutual friend who wrote in a smaller niche and she
Yes.
did very well with it.
Yes.
And so getting the readers to take a chance and reading a story that is uh, a smaller niche is the challenge that I'm facing,
Mhm.
and that marketing for marketing reasons, I have to make certain choices that work for me.
Yes.
So sorry for the babble. It kind of
No,
went off
that's
there.
that's a good
Potato.
point though. Your Swede is rolling down the hill. Um, episode 4, everybody. So but no, I think what you're saying is really important though. Knowing your product, knowing your business, knowing your readers, those things are an essential part of a marketing plan rather than something you just do because you're told you have to do it. It's
Yes.
knowing, being intentional. There's some strategy in there. Um,
And
you're
capacity.
pruning something. Yeah, and capacity. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah, for sure. what's interesting to me about your story actually is I remember reading about Diana Gabaldon, the author of the Outlander series, which has
Mhm.
been turned into the TV series, um, talking about uh, marketing for her first book, for the very first book in the series when she was first published. I think she mentioned to going to some very unconventional places, like even like shopping malls and like being in shopping malls and talking to people. She did a few different really unusual locations that I was like, oh, yeah, I hadn't crossed my mind, but it made sense. But what she would do with her books, because she had, because I think her first book came out in the 90s, she had a story that didn't really fit a genre
Yes.
like nicely and tidily. And so she would engage with people who would stop and say, well, what do you like? And some of the women would say romance, and she'd say, well, there's romance in there. And some people were like, I like science fiction. And she'd say, well, there's time travel in there.
Hmm.
Other people said, I want,
Historical aspects.
yep, I want historical facts. She's like, those are in there. They would say things like, I want fights. And she's like, oh, I've got some good ones. They have swords, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it was one of those, I thought it was so, so clever because when you don't fit tidily into a genre, you have to lean on these other attributes of your writing. And I think you have a unique opportunity to do something similar there.
Yes, I think that I have to do something very similar outside of the box thinking,
Hmm.
um, where maybe down the road a PR box or some kind of promotional marketing would work. But right now, it's more or less finding those readers, finding those people who
Hmm.
will take a chance on a story that may sound, outside of what they're normally reading. I think
Hmm.
that's fantastic going to malls or just going out to places and just
Yeah.
setting up a table
Yeah.
even in the
Uh,
middle of the mall and just being like a sign that says, ask me about my book and just have it
yeah.
right there.
Yeah. I'll have to find an interview for you. It was very interesting because number one, it was obviously a different type of book was
Yeah.
popular then. Um, and so publishing and everything was shaped differently, but I thought that was such a creative approach to such a creative book because it didn't fit well anywhere. And the publishers were taking a risk. I mean, her books are ginormous. They're
Yeah.
absolutely massive. So you're asking a reader to commit to not only reading a long book, but holding the dang thing. Okay, they're massive. Um,
Yeah.
so um,
Yeah. Her stories are the page counts are also higher.
yeah, the word counts are quite a bit higher.
Yeah.
Um, I think Mineland's just shy of 150,000. That's long, even for historical fiction. It's on the longer side for now, for current times. Um, but hers are a good
Yeah.
100,000 or 150,000 more. So they're
That
big, big
was
books.
that was something else I took in consideration regarding what I could write and maintain for goals versus getting books out faster. So I did short novels. So these are between 50 and 60,000 words for a final count. And since I'm an
Mhm.
underwriter, if I can get a first draft that's 45 to 50,000, that's doable in 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then I'm able to put out at least 2 books a year. That's the goal.
that's brilliant. So I've recently been writing in 20,000 word bursts. How did you find writing in 45 to 50, coming back from a conventional length of book? Because how long were your YA?
My YA books are between 70 and 85, like 82.
Okay.
So I kept my YA books shorter just because my first series, my first YA book was like 120K.
Okay.
And I think that's really high for a YA fantasy book.
Hmm.
And once I learned that, because I read all my reviews, I want to hear what people are saying. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it was a bit long. Um, for YA, you have to hold that teenage attention. So things have to be snappier.
Yeah.
So I focused on getting my word count under 100K.
Yeah.
And so then I got it around, I aimed for between yeah, it was like 75 and 80. So writing these shorter ones wasn't too hard for me.
Okay.
The the hard part is making sure that there's enough, that the world building and that everything doesn't seem like you're missing stuff because you're telling
Hmm.
this story so fast,
Hmm.
so you have to make sure that the world building and the character voice and everything is balanced out because
Yeah.
it is a faster paced story. um but I did hear back from the proofreader, our friend,
Yes.
uh and she said it was fantastic, and she said that the pacing was good, the adult voice was there, it didn't sound
Good.
YA, which was really important.
Yeah.
So uh I journaled myself for November and December and January to see how much I could write, to see if I could maintain this, can I write a book in 3 months? So
And at that length, do you feel pretty good?
I do. I think because I did like a 5 year projection plan
Mm.
for this series, and I I have to incorporate more buffers to take in consideration if I get sick, if my editor doesn't return it back, if it's late. These are the things that I always forget to incorporate when I'm doing book projections. So especially if I want to do a serialization. So I have to make sure I have everything on certain deadlines in order to meet the expectations of releasing these books going forward after the first book is a serialization. Um, well, we can talk about serialization in another episode.
I think it's
But for
fascinating.
marketing purposes,
There you
it's
go.
all about just trying to get readers who enjoy romantic fantasy or romantasy to take a risk and try an alternate Western
Yeah.
romantic fantasy. So,
I think it's going to be great.
oh, thank you.
Um, Hot's back at you.
Oh, hearts,
Um,
hearts.
I I say that because well, partly because I have a bit of an in on how you've been thinking about this and how you've been working on it. But also I think there's a wonderful there's some wonderful insights you've taken in observing writers, observing projects. You've taken in information from so many different sources and you're sort of creating your own design out of
I
there's that
am
word
number
again.
one input.
Yes, out of capacity. Like
Yeah.
what is within my capacity to do? Um, and coming up with a plan for that. Um, and
The
I
biggest
think
problem is, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, I'm definitely a thinker and a formulator when it comes to planning projects. But the problem is sometimes it's the plural part, projects.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, I have 4 projects, and they're not little projects. They're
That's a
four
lot.
big, a
Yeah.
Kickstarter that I'm in the distribution page, which I'm trying to format this omnibus and trying to get that all. The new series I'm releasing next month. Um, the author collab project. There's 7 of us,
Yep.
and we've got our pre-launch page for the Kickstarter starting next month, and that is have to finish writing that book this coming week and send it to the copy line editor for March 2nd.
No pressure.
And then the standalone story that's probably not a priority story, but I've been working with a book coach to write, to pitch to
Right.
agents because I'm really curious about the trad world.
Yeah. So just a few things.
Just a few. Just a few.
It is tricky though, because on the one hand, like some people are extremely good at just one thing and they do it chronologically and it's done. It's very tidy that way. And other people need to be able to dip into different pieces, sort of following a muse, I suppose, but also just maybe following what your brain's ready to do that day can just be an easier thing. And I think the challenge is just which process, which system gets you finished work. And
And it
to
depends
find
on
that
your
you
life.
have to do it.
Like you work full time outside
Yes.
of writing world,
Yeah.
whereas I am fortunate enough where I could stay home and I write full time. But because this, I'm taking on so many projects, which at some point they don't seem to overlap, but then there are going to be times when they all overlap.
Yeah.
And so,
Those perfect
that,
storms that happen.
yeah, if I was working full time, I really don't think I'd be able to, my sanity. I don't know how you
Yeah.
do it, lady.
I don't do it. I think that that's been the point. The the realization. I mean, I do. It just takes years and years and years and years. And I have to be content with that being the pace of things. And but you've said this to me many times, and it's very true. I mean, each of us can look over the last even 5 years and see everything that's happened in our families, in the world, in the publishing space. Like things change all the time. And the
Oh yeah.
difference between your kid being, I don't know, 10 to being 15 can be really significant.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh, definitely.
just in how they need things from you. Because obviously, if you're parenting, they always need something from you, but it
Yeah.
shifts and it changes and it has shape. And so um, I've got
Yeah.
one leaving for college in this week. And so the shape of the house changes when she comes and goes. And so it just is a different, it's always changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. There's you may have your schedule for the calendar for whatever you're doing with family, work, whatever, but who knows when it's going to change or when things happen and
yeah. Well, just the difference too between like cooking for everybody and putting aside leftovers, and then just sometimes we're cooking for just, a few of us instead because
yeah.
people are scattered and doing all their things. Whereas I used to be practically catering for everybody, and now it's just only every other day sort of thing. Or some weeks, not at all. I haven't had to. Everyone else is taking care of it. So it just depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change is guaranteed for sure.
Nope. No, yeah, it's different for everyone. I mean, and it's different for what you want for to come out of it.
Yes.
Like some people are
Yeah.
doing it for for hobby or for doing it because they enjoy it. Some people want, to make millions. I like our friend who did the small niche and now is doing like fantastic and has
Yeah.
warehouses. I don't know if I'd want that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that is my goal. That
Yeah.
that is something I don't think I could I don't think I'd want that.
Yeah.
Um, but that is why, like I'm content with doing just what I'm doing, I
Yeah.
guess, we just
Yeah.
find what we're content with and go. Um,
For sure.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Teach is our own.
Yes.
And as long as, we get the joy of reading the stories and
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
focusing
absolutely.
on sharing those stories. All right,
Absolutely.
are you ready for some tea talk?
Oh, yes, please. And is it ice cold? Is it tepid? Is it
Oh,
hot
this is
tea?
this is this is the hot and scolding and
Oh God,
everybody's on fire.
I'm bracing.
Everybody's heated up for this. I was scheduled to attend
Mhm.
the Dreamers and Readers Festival in Dallas, Texas, March 6th through 8th of 2026. And last week or a few days ago, I want to
Wow.
say it's been less than a week.
Hmm.
Um, but it's basically 3 weeks before the event. The event organizers posted on Instagram the event was being canceled. So they posted the event was being canceled before they sent out the email.
Okay.
So everybody found out via this one post that the Dreamers and Readers Festival, which was supposed to be this 200 plus authors, it was like 5 or 6 balls. Like they were really like going
Wow.
all out for this fantasy balls, brunches, a whole bunch of
Mhm.
stuff, panels. Um, and yeah, from a post, it got canceled. And then about a half an hour, I would say, after the post was made, I received an email from the organizers explaining that they were canceling the event. Um, and in the email, it said that there would be refunds, but they would be based off of, I think they had to do it not all at once, like first come, whoever signed up first and then went down the list or something. I don't know. But in the post, it hadn't mentioned anything about refunds. So people were really upset and concerned that they weren't going to get a refund for this event. Mind you, the author table was $400. And the
Okay.
hotel itself, because you had to book, you didn't have to, but you booked in the books hotel slots they had because they attached the event to the hotel. So when you do that, you have an agreement with the hotel that you get a certain number of blocked rooms you have to fill. And
Right.
I don't think they met that. I think that was the problem.
Got it.
And so even for that hotel, it was like a $900 hotel expense for me.
Yeah.
And then
Not
on top of it,
insignificant amounts of money.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was driving, but for all the authors who were flying and
Mm,
had to ship their books, a lot of them may have already shipped their books with 3 weeks out to the event. They've
yeah.
taken pre-orders. So the community was really upset and it was a lot going on.
Yeah.
The nice thing is there was a handful of authors who came together with a couple of vendors, and they have put together, organized a few different events in place of that now down in Dallas, Texas,
Oh,
for
interesting.
authors who still wanted to go.
Yeah.
I'm not able to go. I was gonna go, but then I'm not able to go because my daughter's having some surgery, and so I want to be here. It's the Monday after the weekend, but I wanted to be here. Um, but it was just a really big wake up call for a lot of authors because one, I think this organizer has done this before. I'm not sure on that part. Won't quote me on that part. But I think a lot of organizers have stepped up and they've made posts. One is Rebel and Realms, or I think it's Rebel and Realms, and they're very transparent about this is how we have booked our organization. Yes, we've booked it with a hotel. Yes, we have to meet this number of um, hotel rooms booked, as part of the contract. There's a lot of them are just being so sweet and they're saying, like, we support these authors who were supposed to be there. If you are an author affected by this, reach out to us. We'll add you to a future event. Like they might be
Mm,
all booked for this year, but if you wanted to go to a 2027, they'd put you on a list for being accepted then. So it's just been such an amazing um just seeing the community just
yeah.
come together
Yeah.
and just supporting each other. And at first everybody was really angry and posting really grr, but then everybody was like, okay, it is what it is. Now what are we going to do about it? And I am just so in awe about the chats, the groups that have come together, the authors, the vendors, the readers, and they're just like, we're going to make something work.
Yeah.
And I'm just in awe.
is something that continues to amaze me about the author community, especially indie authors. Like they're just so incredibly positive,
Oh yeah.
overwhelmingly positive, I think. And I mean, sure, there's some bad apples, but generally speaking, I just find again and again the sense of community and just supporting each other. I'm very sorry that that got canceled. That I know you were looking forward to your the events you
That's my
had planned out this year.
first. That
Yeah.
was the first big one for the year. Um,
Um,
yeah, I was looking forward
yeah.
to meeting some other authors and a few
It,
readers in
yeah.
real person.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm pleased to hear though that authors are rallying and vendors too. And like because we're teammates. I mean, we
Mhm.
are. We might work independently in the sense of like day to day, but um we're teammates. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though it's like you spend all this money, hotel, table fees, and all this stuff, um, with big events like this, you never know if you're going to make break even,
Hmm.
but you have to go into it with a networking. It's a
Hmm.
marketing experience. You have to look at it as um, this is the time to really get yourself out there and put your face out there and mingle and get noticed, because it's so hard on social media for our posts and our to get our books to get discovered. So doing events is so key for indie authors. And then I think that's why a lot of were really upset because this was supposed to be such an amazing event. I
Hmm.
mean, it was like 5 or 6 balls they were planning. I don't know
Wow.
why they needed so many balls, but
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. My
it was,
experience of these type of things have been very varied. Um, you probably heard about Readers Take Denver a couple of years ago and the disaster
yes.
that happened with that.
Oh,
Not a physical disaster. It was more of a social disaster in the sense of
well,
like
I think it
how
was physical too, because weren't like some authors like out in the
I just mean like
hallways?
there wasn't a fire and there was,
Oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Like there wasn't like a,
Okay, physically harming. Yeah.
yeah, so there was not an actual like, I don't know, tornado or hurricane or anything like that. But yes, no, the event was a disaster. And of course, a lot of this stuff gets hashed out in social media, doesn't it? Because that's one of the best avenues to sort of get feedback from other people who you might not be able to
Yeah.
physically connect with, but are involved in the same thing you are. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's very interesting to me to see events that have some reliability or they're coming back year after year and after year, and the ones that aren't able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't get the sense that there's a ton of money in it to be made. It's almost like a service to the author community. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't know actually how if there's if they make
I can't
profit
imagine
or
that they do.
what's
Yeah,
the what do they get out of it, you know?
right. Yep.
So the Forbidden Love Festival coming up in July, I'm going to, um, is being put on by Teas and Tropes. Her name is Brie, and I'm sure she has an amazing team. We're really looking forward to this event. So this one is supposed to be up there with like a Imaginarium or a Polycon, you know?
Yeah.
So they have some really big trad names, and then they have the ginormous 200 plus indie authors coming. So that one, and so she does not link her event to a hotel. She gets like
Okay.
a convention center or somewhere, and
Hmm.
then she does work with local hotels to block rooms for people. um but there's no contract obligating us, you know, you have to book certain number of rooms. So those kind of events, which I've that's the thing I've taken away from all of this, is when you're looking into an event, ask the organizers what kind of contract do they have, you know, like
Hmm.
are they are they affiliated or are they contract with a hotel to book a number? I mean, these are the things that we need to start keeping in mind and learning from these kind of experiences. So that way we can be ready for if they don't book enough. We have
Yeah.
to be prepared for if they don't book enough, they're going to have to cancel the event,
Yeah.
which sucks. But and that falls on the organizers too. They need to
Right.
be transparent and they need to say, hey, help us boost this. You know,
Yeah.
if you want this event to happen, we need help marketing it. We need help getting readers. We need help people booking in this hotel. Because what if authors are staying with friends or family? They're
Yeah.
not booking at the hotel. So it's like, you know,
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we have to grow from these things. We can't
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
sit there and, soil in it. Soil in
Well,
it?
and
Is that the I don't mean soil.
I mean, I hope that didn't happen to you. I'm so
I
sorry
meant
if it did.
I
Do you mean stew? Do you mean stew in it?
doing it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, words,
Words. See,
words.
words are not my thing. Okay, stew
Yeah.
in it. Yes.
Um,
Um,
you do. You have to figure out, yeah, what is it that works for you if you're looking to be a part of a conference or an event like that,
yeah.
um, what the risk factors are, and do you feel like you can take on that risk? Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, I think what did you do? Are you still there?
I am.
Oh, my dog just hit the mouse.
Lovely. Yeah,
Um,
family interference.
she hit the mouse and the screen went away.
Oh no. Yes, I'm still.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, so being more aware of events and how they are. I mean, we want to do events, but I think it's important for us to know more about what the organizers are contracted to do and to reach their goal, like to make sure the event happens. So,
Yeah.
I
Well, and
mean,
making sure that in their terms and conditions too, that they have something about if the event needs to be canceled due to whatever,
yeah.
what their policy is for refunds.
And I think that has that in like this one had a
Okay.
cancellation thing, and
Yeah.
it basically said there are no refunds,
Wow.
but unless they cancel. So
Okay.
I think that was it. Unless they cancel, then there's refunds. So they booked through that Eventbrite site
Oh yeah.
where
Uh-huh.
so Eventbrite has policy where if an event cancels, everybody gets the refund. There's no questions.
Okay.
So you just have to submit something through Eventbrite.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, there needs to be some clear transparency in the cancellation section of the agreement where, I mean, if they cancel, then yeah. And I feel like there needs to be more notice than 3 weeks. I just,
That does seem very short, doesn't it?
especially for people who are shipping books or ordering books, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, I don't know. 3 weeks just seems really short. They wouldn't want an author canceling on them
It
three
would be
weeks
3 weeks
before
out.
events, you
No,
know.
no.
But yeah, so that is the tea
Interesting.
for
Okay.
this past week is Dreamers and Readers Festival. So,
So
but yeah,
when's your next one? When was the next one you had planned?
the end of March, I'm going
Okay.
up to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City, which is my first big Comic Con.
Nice.
Um, so I'm really nervous and excited for that. And then I have a smaller festival in May up in Kansas City, but it has a ball. I am not
Okay.
going to the ball, but it has a ball after, which I think this is the new trend as well, like having balls.
I that is something that perplexes me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I maybe it's
It's fantasy,
I think it's
I
a
should
me thing.
say.
I was gonna
Well,
say,
no,
I think it's a
I
me
think
thing.
yeah, it's a fantasy book festival thing. So you might not see this at like a book festival or something like with all kinds of genres.
Sure.
You might not see the balls after.
Do bulls feature in fantasy a lot though? Like, is that a trope for
Oh yeah.
fantasy writers? Okay, bulls
Oh yeah. I mean,
specific.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm so over the princesses and the castles and the balls and the competitions and like I think that's why I wrote the Western, is just because
Yeah.
I wanted to do something that was in that fantasy theme,
Yeah.
like what you see in those romanticy stories of, the balls and the princesses, but just not no more balls
So
and
interesting.
castles and yeah. So um yeah, I I have that, and then Enchanticon, which is another Comic Con type thing up in
Mhm.
St. Louis.
Wow.
And then in July, I have Enchanticon, the Rebels and Realms in
Mm.
Arkansas, and then Forbidden Love in Tennessee. So I basically, my husband's like, you're not going to be home in July.
That's amazing. What a month. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the month. I'm not going to get any writing done in July.
No, you're probably just gonna have to plan around just nothing. Yeah, no net gain
Yeah.
that month except for the events.
Then after that, I'm done for the year. So that'll be nice.
For eventing specifically done in July. Okay.
Yeah. Then I've got the Kickstarter and then the serialization stuff starting in August. So then it'll be focused more on in-house stuff. So,
Okay. Awesome.
oh,
That's gonna be a fun year for you. That's good.
it's gonna fly by. Like 2025 flew by so fast, and I don't want 2026 to fly by, but I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to slow it down.
Man, if
I
only we
would love,
could.
yeah, I would love to know.
I'd get more words, that's for sure. Well, on that note,
My dog's barking. I don't know if you can hear. I'm
that's all
so
right.
sorry.
My family's being loud. It's totally fine. This is what it is. We are casual. We're keeping it casual.
My crazy dog. Yeah, so that was, oh my gosh, we talked about a lot.
We did cover a lot. I did take a couple notes just to kind of like, yeah,
Yeah. Well, we should say goodbye.
we will.
Okay. Not don't hang up again.
No,
So,
do that. Just me just tapping out.
yeah,
Just tapping out. Yeah.
after the last episode, it was so funny because we said goodbye. We said thank you
Yes.
for listening.
Took it very
And then
seriously.
I stopped recording, and then
Yep.
CJ just,
Just vanished. I just left. It's like, peace out, everyone.
oh,
And
that was,
I don't know what I did. I was just force of habit, maybe muscle memory, whatever it was.
yeah.
And just was like, okay, we're done. And then I had to crawl back. Like, please let me back. I'm so sorry. I don't know
Oh,
why.
that's why this is so great. This is so great.
Yeah.
This is casual. This is just us coming on and just chatting and
Yes.
just recharging our social battery and hopefully
Yes.
recharging everybody else's just listening to us chat.
Yes. Yes. Um, so go get words, everyone. Just get the words you
Yeah.
can get. Um,
Get words, get familiar with your writing habits,
get creative. Yeah, do your thing.
and you know what? If you have a topic that you want to hear our opinions on, you can definitely
No
share in
shortage
the
of that, is
comments
there? Definitely.
because we definitely we'll chime
Yeah.
in on anything you have to throw
I
out there.
mean, maybe let's keep it like writing
Oh,
creative
yes.
related. Because like I don't really have opinions on like how long you should ferment sauerkraut or how long beards should be, or I don't know,
Yes, yes. Please
endangered
keep it
puffins
within
in the
the
Arctic Circle. I
publishing,
don't
writing, and book
probably don't
realm.
have opinions on those things, but writing creative stuff, yeah, happy to talk about whatever wants to hear.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking.
Same bat time, same bat channel. All right.
Seriously. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you. See you next time.